So what's up, trade crew? Welcome back to HVAC R&D, hosted by Rhydon Atzenhofer. I am thrilled to welcome back a past guest that has always been a supporter of me in the show, and he's always been there for me and countless others of the trade crew anytime any of us had questions to ask for advice, counsel, and most importantly, friendship. Let's get it, y'all. From the beginning of this show, I've always said that the trades industry is built on great people with great stories, and I want the trade crew to hear yours. Whether you're in the field turning a wrench or running duct, building a trades empire from your office, working the distribution counter, grinding a sales territory, repping or working for a manufacturer, or anywhere in between, HVAC R&D is the show about the power of conversation, collaboration over competition, and sharing real conversations from every corner of the trades community. And if you've got a story to tell, then I've got a microphone ready for you. So when you're ready, go check out the links to the HVAC R&D podcast questionnaire that are on all social media channels and on the website, and get in touch with me about joining an episode of the show. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for sharing some time with me. If you're coming back show after show, thank you for helping me continue to make this dream of highlighting our trades a reality. Please make sure to smash the like and subscribe buttons on any and all streaming and social platforms where you follow the show, and please share with your friends and trade crew. If you aren't following the show, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at HVAC.R&D, and on LinkedIn, Facebook, and TradeHounds as the HVAC R&D Podcast. Please make sure to go check out HVACRnd.com and visit the swag shop for some cool merch and some Cajun Joe's Bayou Spice, and then check out the vendor hub for discounts on BetterHelp, Chirp, Service Titan, and my newest partner, SkillCat. So today we welcome back a powerhouse from episodes 44 and 45, Keith Flores, known online as HVAC God. He's the owner of HG Home Services in Corona Del Mar, California, and now publicly the founder of HG Home Guardian, a bold new move into the world of home automation. He's an inspirational business leader, a passionate family man, an F1 fanatic, and one of the realest voices in the trades. Keith, welcome back to HVAC R&D.
Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited
absolutely.
to talk about some of the stuff I've been doing since.
Yeah, so it's been, when I was looking it up earlier, it was March of 22, so a little over 3 years since we've had a chance to do this. And I know there's a ton of new things in your life. I know most importantly, you welcomed a new little girl in August of 23, so little Melania Ray. So how has fatherhood evolved for you with this next chapter?
She is definitely, we say foodies, but I have I caught myself calling her, instead of a foodie, Edie, because it doesn't matter if you have a chip in your mouth, she'll walk over and grab the chip from you. She's just doesn't turn down food. Food is her love spot. So, and it's been amazing. I have my three little ones and then my two older ones. My three little ones, I have a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, and now Mila, 1.5. And she goes by Mila is what we all call her. And she's nothing but trouble. She puts everybody in their places for sure.
Like father, like daughter.
Yes, definitely. It's been really cool. Different stages of life, man. And I enjoy it.
So, and with that, especially since you've kind of got kids of all different ages, you've got businesses of all different levels. So, between family, business, and still finding a way to be fully present, what helps you really be able to kind of balance all that?
I'll tell you the truth. You got to have the right partner. My wife, she brings stability to the whole empire, the Flores empire. She keeps me very grounded. I change dirty diapers all the time. She, helps me out tremendously with my businesses as well as the family. She keeps everything organized. We do homeschooling, so she has her hands full right there, and keeps the kids in everything. So everybody's doing stuff. And then my two older ones, my daughter, she lives with us. She has her own little suite of the house. And then she also works for us in HG Home Services, and same with my son. But my son moved out when he was 18, lives right up the street from us in an apartment. So he's literally always stuck over at our house doing lots of chores and stuff like that. So we keep the family tight. We really do. We have Sunday dinners. It's not a negotiation. You have to come over and just deal with dad for Sunday dinners. You know, that's the old Italian in me coming out. That my wife, loves to cook. Everything's very healthy. Everything's from scratch. We talked about this in the last one, but so it's a lot of work, especially with my new project we're going to talk about here shortly. But it's a lot of work, and I love having a strong wife that keeps me in check. And a lot of guys won't say that, but I definitely appreciate it.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Kristen will keep me in line no matter what I do. Every now and then I gotta keep her in line too, but most of the time she keeps me on the straight and narrow. And then, we added a third puppy to our crazy little family of schnauzers.
Oh wow!
He just got fixed 2 days ago, so he's convalescing as my little podcast partner knocked out over here next to me, with the other two sleeping. Chris had to go back to work this afternoon, but it's crazy fun here for us too. And then, also you and I share a passion for Formula One.
I'm going to cut you off right there because I actually just got a puppy too. I can't say just. I got him. It was like an early birthday present for myself. And I said I'd never do another dog again. I had to put my big Great Dane down, which was my pal. And, I said, I'm not doing any more dogs. And one day my wife tells me, I miss having a big bark in the backyard. So when I'm not around, like that was kind of our security. And so then I was like, went online. I said, I'm not going to do another Great Dane. So I ended up finding a breed called a Borbal. And this guy is a solid tank. I think he's 7 months old. He's well over 120 pounds already. He's 4 pounds of raw meat a day. We feed him raw meat. It's very healthy for him. And but he is my pal. He's going through training right now. He's not doing. The trainer says he's doing great. On my side, I think he's doing terrible because I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and he drags me all over the place. So, but having puppies, man, you want them, and then all of a sudden you get them, and then you got to deal with all the aftermath of the destruction of your property because they're chewing stuff apart and all that stuff. So I feel your pain a little bit. Mine's probably a little bit bigger of a pain.
Just a little bit in terms of size. So we lost our oldest one, Riker, who he was the one that used to snore on the show all the time.
Yeah.
We lost him in March of last year, and then we got Rhodes in August. And he was supposed to be around 12 pounds or so. He's almost 18. So he's way bigger than his other two brothers. But he is, and he's kind of, you would almost think he's got like big dog floppy paws is the funny thing about it. He's almost awkward as if he was a big dog, even though he's still not that big.
That's hilarious.
He's got the biggest bark of any schnauzer or any miniature schnauzer I've ever heard, which is funny.
My wife's cousin, so my cousin, I guess, she has two of those little guys, and they crack me up. But I fell in love with Banks. That's what I named him, Banks, and he is just a ginormous tank and lovable dog. But he likes to chase birds. So if he sees a bird on a walk, he just darts, and he's just solid muscle. If you ever get a chance, look up Borbals, and they were originally bred in South Africa for protection of families from lions. And,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so these things are. He's basically it's a spinoff of a Mastiff.
Okay,
what they are, but great family dog. But anyways, yeah, you were getting ready to talk about Formula One.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we have a shared passion for Formula One, which I did not realize you were doing giveaways and stuff until I saw one of the posts yesterday.
Yeah,
because myself and HVAC Rachel Pleen up in Canada, she and I started a little bonus show called the HVAC Zoomies, which may have to try to get you on an episode at one point. And kind of the whole point is we talk about a couple of HVAC news stories real quick so we can talk about cars that go real fast.
Yeah.
So Max just pulled off a master class of a snooze fest of a race this past weekend. What's your thoughts on the season so far?
I'm a big Max fan, so I love the Red Bull team. I'm worried about all the whispers and talks about him leaving, but
I know.
Lando has really stepped up. McLaren stepped up. I think it's going to be a lot better this year, a little bit more competitive year. I'm not sure that I wasn't too happy that they pulled Liam out of the car so quickly. I don't know. Max is going to take it this year. We all know it. Let's be real. Now the Constructors' Cup is going to be up for grabs.
Yep, Constructors is up for grabs unless Yuki can figure something out in the next couple of races. Otherwise, it's going to be a McLaren runaway for that one.
Yeah, there was a lot of changes, and I just heard now I'm drawing a blank to his name, and I love him. He used to drive for Red Bull, and Daniel Ricciardo is signing with Cadillac.
I wondered if that was going to happen. I've been hearing the whispers of that one. I love Danny Rick. I feel like he kind of got a raw deal. I think if anything, if they were going to pull Liam so quick, I think they should have just put him in the car last year.
Yeah.
And then moved on from there. At least give him a little bit more of a proper send off than he got, because I kind of feel like he really got the raw end of the deal the way that was done.
Yeah, and then I don't know what really transpired. I try to find out more about Ferrari got into some trouble with their race. Was it 2-3 weeks ago?
Overweight and a couple different things for being, and I mean it wasn't a lot. I think one of them they were overweight by like a kilogram, but it was just enough to broke the rule. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, I think Lewis Hamilton's going to be a little frustrated with that because he switches teams, and that was a big move for him.
Well, and now the Mercs are kind of having a bit of a resurgence on top of it too.
Yeah. There's a lot of change up. I really enjoy it. The one thing I don't like is when they have for us it's 4:00 in the morning starts or 5:00 in the morning starts, because I can't turn it up. My wife gets pissed off that all the kids are sleeping and stuff. So, but it's just one of those sports. If you just watch it one time and you find something in it that you like, you get hooked. It's cool.
Like I said, I think I need to drag you onto an episode of that show with Rachel and I. Otherwise, you and I could turn this show into that show if we ain't careful.
Definitely.
Well, let's talk a bit about kind of since last time we talked, HD Home Services. You continue to grow. I know you were talking about some new things you're starting to specialize in. So, what's really changed the most in your approach with your leadership in your business of your company? And then we'll get through that a little bit, and then we'll get on to Home Guardian. Since 1961, J.P. Lamborn Company has been the name behind some of the best flexible duct products in the business. A third-generation family-owned company that built its legacy on integrity, innovation, service. That same spirit drives them today, with antimicrobial technology, top-tier materials, and a relentless focus on quality. When contractors need a product they can stand behind, JPL delivers. It's more than just flex duct, it's peace of mind. JPL, the name you know, the quality you trust, and the flex that delivers.
We've really just stayed focused in on we'll call it a 5-mile radius of my office, which is in Corona Del Mar, Newport Beach area. And we've taken a different approach by just focusing on more, it's not all uber luxury, but more of the high-end client space, dealing with from HVAC to plumbing to a flagpole needs to be put up. my guys are at the home. They're going to take care of the clients. So we've built a phenomenal reputation. We do no marketing, no advertising whatsoever. It's all word of mouth. I've, you know, since the day I opened, I have not laid a guy off yet, or sent him home because there's no work. And that's outstanding for me, because normally, you take 5 to 10% of your total budget, and that's towards marketing or something along those lines to get keep the guys busy and so forth. We haven't. When I hear, like, when we first started talking, when I hear people go, "Well, you ramping up for the summer?" Nope. I really, my first reaction is always just kind of like, no, we're not. We're also in an area that's 70 degrees all year round, pretty much. There's a couple days that it's cold that they need to turn on the heater. A couple days that it's hot, you need to turn on the air conditioner. So we go after indoor air quality heavily. And that being said, we have a lot of these, mega mansions that have, anywhere from 4 systems to 15 systems in the homes. And these houses are built in a way where you have to basically put chases in and drop ceilings and so forth. But you're also dealing with, interior designers that don't want to put chases in and don't want to drop ceilings.
No, they don't.
So everybody, and we have height restrictions out here, because you can't obstruct the people behind you, because you want to go taller, because they need to keep their ocean views as well. So, for over 25 years, I've dealt with Space Pack. I did Space Pack back, probably 20 something years ago in Robin Williams' house out in San Francisco. And after that, I always thought, hey, this is a good product. Never, it's double the price, so it's hard to sell, and I started getting more and more into it. And as we developed HG Home Services, we got heavy into it because we started being the guys with the solution providers. We were going out to homes and walking jobs and telling people, we're not going to be the cheapest by any means. So if you want us to, get close to that bid over there, or close to that guy's bid over there, we're not going to be the guys. So I don't want to waste your time, but we do have solutions for you. And as soon as we started telling people we don't have to have, a drop lid, or we don't have to build a chaseway. Homeowners were hiring us direct around the GCs, which is very uncomfortable because now
I'm sure
the GCs have no control over us, but and it brings a lot of confrontation between us and the general contractors. But the homeowners, they might have used us before on their other house, or their interior designer did another house with us, so they fell in love with us and how we do things. And we're not, these big new construction homes, I never liked doing new construction. So I bid them out. I've always bid them out like a retrofit job. So that's where it really changed for us. We bid them out just like a retrofit, and GCs don't like that. So it's been really cool.
Well, and when you're bidding it as a retrofit, especially in a situation where you're dealing around a GC and you're in a custom home environment, I feel like you actually need to bid it almost as a retrofit, because half the time you'll have a plan that you're spending money on, and then the next day you'll get a change order or someone wants to change something else. So
100%.
Bidding it that way gives you a bit more wiggle room to still have a profit margin while also taking care of kind of the whims of the client. I guess that's kind of the best way to say it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because here's what we do. Like, we just got another big project yesterday. And what we literally do when we go out to these projects, I tell them, look, here's the price. If we miss something, it's on us. You won't get a change order from us. But now if your framer comes in and moves a wall from the blueprints, or you decide you want to add a 500 square feet or push this wall out or whatever it is, that's a change order. But if we miss something, there's no change orders on our side.
And that's a totally different ball of wax too.
Yeah, because most contractors, what they do is they'll bid, and the general GCs do it too. Cheapest bid wins the job. But at the end of the job, I guarantee that GC will never do another project for that client again because they hated the process. They were told that the house is going to be built for typically out here, $800 square foot. Now, by the time it's done, it's more like $1,700 a square foot. Well, what the heck happened? Well, we came in, you wanted the cheapest price. Everybody's bidding at this. You got hit with change order after change order after change order. And so that's one of the things that I really focused in on. Like, hey, when we're doing a job, this is what we're going to do it. And I meet with the whole entire team and we lock it all in and we're happy with it. And here it is. And it's kind of amazing. Like the job we just landed I think we signed contracts this morning, yesterday. It's my daughter. So my daughter does like all our dispatching, but every now and then I need her to go run and pick something up or whatever. And she's amazing. She's like me. She literally will stop at a job that she sees a house being torn down, because most of these are tear downs and then people build their mega mansions on top. Gotcha. And she'll see, somebody tearing it down and she'll stop and go, hey, do you got an HVAC contractor? Nope. Here's my card. And they see a young, good looking girl out on the job and she's, hey, my dad owns a heating and air. We're family owned and operated locally, blah, blah, blah. She gets these jobs all the time. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind because I never told her to do that.
Well, and I think some of that is, you've built a business that's truly a family business. And as long as everyone's bought into it, bought into the company culture, everyone in the family and everyone on the team are going to win.
Yeah. And, it's fun though. It's amazing. And, it's hard to, you can't, having kids in your business is very different. I always said I wouldn't bring my kids into the business. They fell into the business. They love the business. So it's amazing to me, but it's also a balancing act for where, like when we go places, like if I go do a job walk with my son and daughter, they don't call me dad. They don't have Mr. Flores, and usually people catch on right away. Is this your dad? And then, we like to keep it professional. And then everybody loves to hear that as well. So we try and, at work, we try and keep it very professional, and it's hard because I've driven that into my kids, because my son, he runs all the projects in the field. And my daughter, she handles a lot of the office stuff. And so we try and keep it really professional in that aspect. But there is times where I gotta, hey guys, you don't know everything. Let dad take this project over and help you guys out a little bit. So, and even my the two little ones, not the baby yet, but the two little ones, like we're on a Pacific Coast Highway. Our office is right on a main street. Yep. So there's always, the Christmas parade and all that type stuff. So my entire family goes and sits out in front of our building, and we put tents up and we do giveaways and that type stuff, and everybody comes. But my little ones, they love the hustle. My son KJ Jr., this morning when I was leaving, he walks into my room, and I took a picture. I'll send it to you. He's wearing a suit. He puts on a suit because he had me buy him I wear a pretty decent sized white gold chain, and
you wearing some great suits every day, but
and he's into it. Then one morning I get up really early, and one morning I'm sitting out on the dock, and he comes walking down to the boat dock, and I said, hey, look, this is why I do this, and I was explaining to him the best part of the day is the morning. The whole day starts over, so it's great, and that's how you get refocused every day. And I'm trying to embed that into him, which is cool.
Talking about focus, talking about company culture. My dad raised me the same way. Whenever I would do job walks with him, it was a professional thing. It's like, you work for me. This is where you make a paycheck. This is what we do, and this is how we do it. There was no favoritism ever showed. If anything, I probably got it harder than anybody else just to prove a point.
100%.
So, when you talk about company culture and things like that, what are some of your non-negotiables that you've maintained in your culture since the last time we spoke in 2022, and kind of how has that grown for you as well?
So non-negotiables in the culture is definitely a big here. I always dress to impress. And it's not dressed to impress the neighbor or anybody else. It's dressed to impress for myself. If you look good, feel good, you've heard all that stuff, but it's true for me. And so when it comes to the culture of the company, if I see guys like unshaven, go home. I'm not trying to be rude. Go home. Keep your beard high and tight. Make it look like you're going to see grandma. When it comes to their uniforms, if they got stains all over them, I pay top dollar for my uniform, so they're supposed to time in a knot, and that just shows if there's stains all over them. That means they're not turning them in. They're doing their own laundry. Why? Stop. So our trucks are black, beautiful trucks, all brand new. We just ordered a whole new fleet, so those should be coming in the next few months. I want my trucks always clean every week. There's no smoking, there's no cursing, and even on new construction jobs, which always sets us apart from every new construction. We don't play music. We don't have all this stuff going on. We're just like we do retrofit is the same way we do new construction, and that sets us totally apart.
Well, and I love watching the videos when you guys are walking into a home and you lay down the HG Home Services mats, you roll everything out. You've got it's classy, man. It really is.
And we want, and this is my entire career, I've always been that way. I just want everybody to treat everybody's homes equally. I don't care if it's a multi-million-dollar house or just some apartment. I want it to be treated like you treat your grandmother's house. And that's what I put into every guy. Hey, treat it like your grandma's. And if you don't like your grandmother, fine. Treat it like your mom's house. Whoever you love and respect the most, treat it like their home, and you want to respect it at the best way you can. And I feel like that's one of the other reasons why we get so many referrals as well. Because, from real estate agents refer us all the time to homeowners will tell their neighbors, their friends, and everybody about us. And we don't incentivize any of these people. We're not paying them for referrals. So, which a lot of people think I'm nuts. Like, hey, you're getting great referrals. Why don't you pay them for them? I'm like, I'm not trying to buy the leads. They are referring us because we do a great job and we stay on top of what we're supposed to do.
And there's a completely different value in a lead that came from someone truly wanting to tell someone else about your business as opposed to, I get a $50 gift card. All right. It's two different things. It's two different things. Yeah. What's been your most rewarding milestone for the company in the last couple of years?
I think the most rewarding is everybody knows us as a good, solid company. We're not that has changed. People knew us, people know who I am and that type of stuff. But when I'm at a grocery store and somebody walks up, hey, you're Keith Floyd, you own HG Home Services, right? Yep. Man, your daughter is amazing on the phone. Or, hey, your son came out and walked the job. He was amazing. Like those type things blow me away. I love hearing great stories. I've had them in the past, but not necessarily, people spotting me out in public and just coming up to me and telling me how great, Michael was out on a job and he solved all our problems and never complained and blah, blah, blah. Those are huge for me. It's always about the money. And we've doubled our revenue and that, this, that, and the other thing, but it's also, I love to get the recognition of my technicians, not just my kids, but all the technicians, and hear that. Well, here's a great example. Nobody ever comes to me in my company asking me for a raise. I just know when to give raises because I hear great things about those employees. If you have to go to your boss to get a raise, you got issues.
I agree with that 100%.
And so I've taken that approach heavy and hard over the past few years of, I just did it in a meeting last week. I literally called two guys out in the meeting. I said, hey, you know what? I've had nothing but great responses lately from you guys, and your teammates around you have said great things about you guys. Michael, I'm bumping you up. Juan, I'm bumping you up. And they were like, what? Okay. But you just did last month. Yeah, but you're still crushing it. So keep it going. So that's, and when people come to me for a raise, that's when I got an issue. I literally will go, hey, and then I'll point out, hey, this, and this. Because, the culture these days, it's like instant gratification. And if I've done this, I need to get paid this. No. So that's a little bit of a challenge for me. And actually, two guys came to me for a raise recently, about a month ago. And so I said, let's pencil this out. And we sat down in my office. We laid it all out. And they came back to me basically saying, so we owe you some money. I'm like, no. Let's just work on these items, and then you won't come to me. If you get these three things, each one of them I gave three things. I said, if you get those three things handled and moving forward, you won't have to come to me for a raise. So it's a little different approach, but I think it's been a big change for me.
Well, and I think it also shows that, one, you value what they put out into the community, but you also value them growing as individuals. And if you're seeing them grow, not just as an employee, but as a person, and really stepping up to the plate, it's the right time to reward it. And in most cases, it's not an entitlement thing. They earned it. They got what they truly deserved.
Yeah, it's very different because so I grew up in the trades, and once I got a taste of piecework and commission and that type stuff, my work ethic was off the charts. I was like, all right, this is what I'm a young guy. I need to provide for my family, so I crushed it. Now you got to be very delicate, especially in California, of how you do that. So I've built this company not around any type of commissions or anything like that, just straight hourly. I don't want a bunch of clock watchers, but let's work it out and figure out how we do this. And it was a lot of hiccups along the way, even including my son, because he was used to commission based. But we have these bigger projects that I wouldn't even know how to do a commission based structure for these massive projects.
I don't really know how you would either. You're doing a house with 14, 15 systems. That's
some of these
different bear.
Some of these builds are 3 and 4 years, so it's not the same. But I am trying to figure, because we do run a lot of service as well, so I'm trying to figure out some sort of incentivized program for not to upsell necessarily, but to have the techs make spiffs, something. Everybody like some sort of bonus. I don't know. We've thought long and hard about this, and I've kind of went round and round. But anyways, I don't know the solution yet, because we're not just strictly a retrofit company anymore. Retrofit is very easy to figure that portion out. But when I have my service techs will be on, doing a startup with 15 systems on a house, how are you going to go from hourly to commissionable units to a piecework? It doesn't make sense. And the accounting side of it is just a nightmare.
Well, and also that it's, when you're trying to build any kind of commission plan into service work or anything else, you have to be very mindful of not creating a program that incentivizes, poor business ethics on the person or the company either. And that's a very delicate, scale to balance at the same time too.
100%. That's always been a challenge in the trades, especially all the big guys that are out there. But I think, back to it all, it really just, you gotta hire slow, fire fast. I get people on social media hitting me up all the time to come to work for us. I try and be very choosy. I'm always looking for the younger generation, guys that don't have a ton of experience, only because, bad habits and so forth.
Yep.
And where I'm located, all the big boys are all surrounding me out here. So, you got a ton of piecework guys and a ton of commission guys out here. And when we're doing these high-end customs, they don't know how to attack those type, because I brought some of the bigger guys in, and they don't even know, you got to build so many custom different little things that they just, and with us doing Space Pack, I have a big, I won't mention his name, but he's one of the largest companies out here. We had breakfast one morning, and he flew out, and we had breakfast, and as we're talking, I was telling him about Space Pack, and he goes, you know what? I got a guy that's multi-millionaire. He's a friend. He needs, new systems. I'm not going to run him through my company because I know they wouldn't know what to do with Space Pack. But I'm gonna give all the information over, and they'll reach out to you, and if you could take care of them for me. And that company probably does, I don't know, off the top of my head, probably 200-300 million a year. And he did not choose to use his own company in that same area.
Well, and I think one of the most important things about being a business owner, whether you're 2 million or 200 or 300 million, is you have to know what your business is capable of doing. And he sees someone that's a friend in the industry that says, I've got a great business, but this is not what I understand how to do. This is how you find that way to be collaborators instead of competition. Yeah, you're going to compete in some ways if you're backing up against each other, but that's where it comes down to knowing that your closest rivals can also be kind of your closest friends at the same time, or should be. If you find a way to work together, things are much more positive.
Yeah, and for me, that's one of the biggest takeaways since the last time we talked. I've always been pretty open with everybody, and like, hey, I've stumbled along the way. I've had failures, blah, blah, blah. But I also have taken that approach of there's plenty of work out there for everybody, and I've always said that. I don't care. There's really no competition out there unless you create it yourself. So I have the job that we landed yesterday, the couple $100,000 job that we landed yesterday, there was 2 other companies that were way cheaper than us, 3 other companies that were way cheaper than us. And I even told the owner, go with them. If it's price, go with them. There's plenty of work out there. We'll walk away. We'll help you design it. We'll take care of you, as much as we can. But if it's price, go with them. I don't mind. I don't badmouth. And what the first thing out of the GC and the homeowner to me was, man, you should have heard what they were saying about you. I go, hey, to each their own. I no ill will towards them. They're probably a decent company. I'm not worried about it. And I just didn't even ask anything. I just kept on talking good about those companies. When you start bad-mouthing and start going down those paths, it just makes you look bad, makes everybody look bad, and that's not what
does.
That's not what you want.
What's up, trade crew? You've heard the buzz. You've seen the press gang at every single AHR. Contractors across the country are ditching their torches for RLS press fittings, and they're not looking back. Why? Because RLS lets you finish faster, safer, and cleaner. From rooftops to mechanical rooms, crawl spaces, and attics, it's a press-and-go solution that's leak-tested, UL recognized, and proudly made in America. Make the switch to RLS and take the heat out of your installs, literally. RLS, rapid locking system, press forward and press on. Well, so let's talk your new venture. Now it's not necessarily brand new, knowing that you founded it a couple of years ago, but it's starting to come out so people can think it's even more new than it is. So let's talk HG Home Guardian and, the future of smart living. So, what sparked your idea to get into this? And it's a very competitive world, but what's kind of the gap you're aiming to fill with your new version of really bringing together technology, service, and a homeowner experience?
So about, 7-8 years ago, I had a technician call in and tell me, hey, the customer wants to buy this $30-something thousand system. He's an engineer. He doesn't understand why I can't give him specifics on the SEER rating. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm telling him it's up to 21 SEER, but he wants to know in a month, what's it going to be at? 6 months, what's it going to be at? In 3 years, what's it going to be at?
Yep.
I said, put him on the phone. And so I start talking to him, and we've all sold to engineers. They're very difficult. And right off the bat, I go, well, we have to match it up. And, the yellow tag, like when you buy a refrigerator, says up to this and blah, blah. He's like, yeah, but how do I know? And so, we talked for about five minutes, and then he goes, look, Keith, I'm buying the system. I don't care. I just want to know, how would I know in 6 months to a year what my system's putting out? And I literally just told them, we can have guys come out and like, it's going to cost you some money and we can figure it out, I'm sure. But he goes, so there's nothing out there that can tell me this.
It's like there's an equation for everything, but you got to do some work to figure it out.
Yeah. So I went home that night, and the way my brain works, I don't sleep very much. And I'm sitting there drawing it out, going like, thinking, there's got to be a way to put a fuel gauge on a wall, right?
Yep.
And to tell homeowners what we're doing. And so I went down a short path, quick path back then of trying to find, engineers, software and hardware engineers to build something like that. And, a few years back, it was very expensive and burnt some capital and said, whatever. And I just kind of shelved it. Fast forward, we'll say 3.5, 4 years ago, I'm sitting there talking with, another startup company, and they invented something really cool. And so I was just kind of like going through that, and I started telling this engineer like what my idea was. And, he's sitting there telling me, well, it's heating and air. What's the big deal? So, I said, it's a huge industry, and we literally took some time back, and he said, look, this is what I'll charge you to build this. And as we went down that path, I started realizing that we can integrate so many other things. So fast forward to where we're at now, we've got our patents. We filed continuous patents. We have international patents. We have trademarks. We've done it all. Spent a ton of money on fantastic things and terrible things. Lots of hiccups along the way. But we're finally to the point where we're launching in June. You can go check it out. Website's not there. There is a website, but it's not up to date. But I'm just starting to drop social media links everywhere. And basically, we're not a control system. We don't control anything in the home. We're a monitoring system. So think of your car. Your car tells you everything. What's your home tell you?
Not a damn thing.
You can have Crestron, Control Force, Savant. You can have, and those are all, anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 to put in your house. And they can control your lights, your hot tub, your TV, your sound, but it's not telling you what's going on with your home. Like, what's your drinking water quality? Do you know that? No. What's your air quality real time? Do you know that? No. Do you know, is your roof leaking? Nope. Oh. Is the bathroom sink, underneath your bathroom sink, is that leaking? Is your refrigerator getting ready to go out? Is your air conditioner getting ready to go out? Is your pool pump running too hard? The list goes on. Whatever it is, we can connect to. We can tell you real time. And this is where the game changer is. And nobody's ever done this before. There is like little guys out there that have, water shutoffs valves, right?
Yep.
There's guys out there that can tell you what the indoor air quality is. There's guys out there that tell you time for your filter. But how are they telling you that? That's what's different. What I did was I got every tool known to man that we go and test all these different products. Garage door openers. How do you know your garage door opener is going to go out?
I don't know, because ours just went out last week.
Oh, see? Wouldn't you like to know ahead of time?
Absolutely.
So you can budget for it? Or wouldn't you want to know what your utility bill is before you get that $500 utility bill? So we can tell you real-time utility bills. We can tell you real-time, like everything real-time. But it's not just going to the homeowner on his app or his head unit, because there's a base station in the home. Really sexy base station, if I do say so myself. But we really so as you get an alert, guess who else gets an alert? The contractor.
You get the alert. Yep.
Contractor gets the alert. So we're being notified at the same time that the homeowner is. So now you don't have to worry about the frivolous warranty calls and the maintenance calls where it's just a filter because of static pressure. We can tell you what's going on with your air conditioner, your pool, your electrical system. garage door opener, your roof. We can tell you before there's roofing problems. We can tell you, it doesn't matter. You ask me what it is and we can not control it, tell you the information. And then guess what? Now you can show up to the client's house and make a wise decision between, you, the homeowner, you, the contractor, and show, look, this is happening over here. So this is what we should do. This is how we should take care of it, and give them some options. Now you're a true solution provider, and we're a true retention hub. Because think about this. I don't know how many companies are out there that are doing heating and air, plumbing, electrical, roofing. Like they do all these different things, but most of the time, the client only knows about the one service.
Correct.
So, and we're sub $2,000 into a home. So you can get all this for sub $2,000. Wouldn't you buy it? Yes. We're going directly to the contractor. Contractors are the ones that I don't want to go out and sell this on Amazon. I'm going directly to the contractor. Contractor's then going to go out and offer it. Now, what most of the big boys that I've met with so far want to do is just give it as they're installing a new system. This is just built into the price because now they got the retention hub of all the other products and services inside the home. And it's part of the maintenance package. For $9 a month, they have an app and they get to see their utility bills. They can see when before your compressor goes out, that you can start budgeting for things. So for $9 a month, $3 goes back to the contractor, So for every app you sign up, the contractor, however the contractor wants to do it, he's going to give $3 back, or he's going to get $3 back, whether he splits it with his technician or he just keeps it all for himself. We've built this around contractors. Like this is for the contractor. So the contractor can now make good decisions with the homeowner. I feel, we can definitely charge more. We're going to have a smaller market, but I felt this is for middle America that can start budgeting their utility bills. They can start budgeting for a new roof. They can start having a plan in front of them is a lot easier than just all of a sudden your roof is leaking. And typically, when your roof is leaking when there's a big stain on your ceiling and the paint's bubbling up, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now in the roofing industry, this is nothing. They've never had any sort of technology.
No, they have not.
So this is real-time technology for them, and it's real-time technology for your pool. I put it in my home, and I won't even tell you how much my utility bill is, but it's ridiculous. And my pool was about 45% of my utility bill that I had no idea because the pool pump was only 5 years old. So I called my son, I said, dude, we need to do something here. He goes, put a variable speed pool pump in. So I literally went online, bought me a variable speed pool pump for $850, put it in, dropped it about, I'd say it cut that 45% in half immediately. And I was like, this is the game changer right here. This is why I'm doing this, is because now it pays for itself.
That's what I was going to say. You show a homeowner that, they think about, well, if you had done this 2 months ago, you just paid for your system. It's over.
Now, here's another game changer for it. Home warranty, utility companies, insurance companies. Now, we can predict before you have a flood inside your home. How big is that?
It's huge.
So these companies have all said, we'll give instant rebates over the counter if you get this in their homes. So it's definitely a whole different platform. There's nothing out there like it. There is some really good products out there that I played with and got to see, and there is a lot of good products out there, but nobody has taken the entire home and packaged it all up like we did, and we patented it. And so it's the other part of the technology. We can stay connected to each one of our nodes up to 850 feet away.
That was the video you dropped today.
Yeah. So through concrete, through water, it doesn't matter, subterranean. I mean, so if you think about how far 850 feet away is, that's huge. So if you're living on property and you got a barn you want to pay attention to, or, a well out there, or whatever it is, we can stay connected to it. How big is that? You walk into a home and most of the time your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi, all that type of stuff does not connect. You could be standing right next to it. It just does not connect. Ours connects. Ours stays connected. The big thing is your average home is probably going to need, we'll call it 20 nodes, 30 nodes. And that's what we call the little devices. Now, we can connect up to 2,000 to 3,000 nodes per head unit. Now, are you ever going to do that? No. But when you start talking, you have commercial clients that you want to take care of.
That was my next question is there a plan to, we all know homeowners want more and more connectivity. They want more and more form of home automation, whatever they can get, especially the younger the generations are getting. We're used to having something in our hand that can tell us everything that's going on at any given second, no matter what. So this is playing into the demographic of people that are becoming homeowners right now. Those same people are also starting to become new business owners. And if they've got this at home, is there an option to have this on the office or in the warehouse or wherever else it is that they want to monitor what's going on, because it helps them plan not only expenses for the home if things are coming up, but it also lets them see what's going on with their commercial property. Do they need to know they're getting ready to lose a 10-ton rooftop they're going to change out because that's going to cost them $15,000, $20,000? What's coming down the road?
So there's a lot of building owners that I talk with out here that basically, if your air conditioner goes out, the tenant can start knocking every day it's out. They take, they take their amount of rent divided by the amount of days, and then they don't have to pay. So sometimes these buildings will be down, this, 2 weeks, 3 weeks if they have a big system.
Absolutely.
Now, if I can tell them, hey, in 6 months, this thing is probably, so now you got to start budgeting, or, hey, get this on the next go round when it's time to put something in, this one needs to go. That's huge, dude. It's like, and what's funny is I can't believe I know there's been companies out there that have tried this and, failed and so forth. But for the team I've put together, our roadmap is pretty remarkable. We've got most of my guys are from outside the industry that are involved in this, like REI, Burlington, just really far outside the industry. Peter DeGone, the founder of Keurig, he does all my financial planning for me. Some wild people on the team. And that being said, they give me a whole different perspective, because at first it was just like HVAC. And then they start, they throw in this, they throw in that. We started noticing, especially after COVID, it was people wanted to know the health of the home. Like, what am I drinking? What am I breathing? Like that type of stuff, more healthy homes. Nobody's ever done real-time water quality testing.
No, they haven't.
Nobody's done any of this stuff, and now we have it, and we've done it. We've had them running in houses completely right now. So it's we're there. It's going to be dropping, like I said, mid-June.
Well, and I think in some cases, no one wanted someone else to have access to this type of info if they didn't have it themselves. So why develop this and give it to everyone? I'd rather develop it for me. I think you're also looking at it from a different perspective. You're not looking at it for, we're creating this so that HD Home Services is the only person that will ever put this in so that we can corner the market with everybody. You're looking at the fact that, if more contractors have the ability to use this, it actually gets it into the market at a fair market price to where more people can take advantage of managing all these different avenues to control their home and control their expenses, understand what's going to happen. When you say this is meant for, middle America and the middle class, really, those are the people that it's more and more and more important even now to keep being able to budget and figure out what's going to happen, because with inflation and what's happening with tariffs and what's going on all over the different places, it's very difficult for any of us to understand how to budget a damn thing right now. So
100%.
being able to have something like this that's affordable to be able to monitor all of your home services in one changes your thought process.
And here's the greatest thing about it all. I'm not I don't have a crystal ball, but when I started doing this 3-4 years ago, number one, there's two things. This was not necessarily about money for me. It was a legacy play. Like, this is what I did for the industry. Two, I wanted everything built here in the U.S. I didn't care if it was going to cost me a little more. I want everything. And, even as we go to production, I want everything built here in the U.S. And it was not easy finding good teams.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you can get it done cheaper overseas. Quality control's not there. So it took me a long time, like I said, on a lot of mistakes, lots of flights and so forth. But this thing is being built, manufactured here in the U.S. So I'm going to the blue collar community, and I know, especially for myself, I love everything red, white, and blue. We are building this here, and with all these tariffs and everything else that's going on, I'm not even phased by it all because this is all built here in the U.S. But I really think that it's time for a change. We need something in the industry. There's a lot of guys that came out with different things here and there, but there hasn't been really. We might go up a SEER or something, and we come out with a new thermostat, but there's not anything that's really been. And I'm not trying to say I'm the game changer or anything, but I am saying, like, I built a team around me that was smart enough to see this is something that will revolutionize how.
I was going to say, nothing has come out that's revolutionized the market in that way in a very long time.
Yeah, and like one of the other things that I love about this is you could be sitting as a service manager, and you say you have Service Titan. We tie into everything. We're an open API. Everybody pretty much now, a year ago, I think it was a year and a half ago, you have to be pretty much open API. But if you have another product that you currently like, great, keep it in your house. We can tie into it. But then the back end side, what's great about this is you could be, as a service manager, sitting at your office, and all of a sudden you get an alert at little Jenny Hammond over here on 16th Street, and it says high humidity level in bathroom 1 under sink, under the bathroom sink in bathroom 1, whatever it is. Guess what? Now you can go, hey, roll a truck, call Jenny Hammond, tell her, hey, she has something going on underneath her sink. This is what's going on. We're going to send a tech. She can call you back and go, or answer the phone and tell you, no need. I spilled a glass of water. I spilled something. It's under control. Okay, cool. Now you don't have to worry about like the client that goes, the air conditioner's not working. It's been in for a year. It's not working. Well, did you change the filter? No, because we're reading static pressures. We can tell you if it's the filter or not. We could tell you if it's the coil or not. We could tell refrigerant. We can, the fuse popped. All right, we know it's the fuse. Send a junior tech. This is what's going on. Like, there's so many different ways and avenues for every aspect of it.
Do you have completely different individual nodes for every single different aspect, or is it one node that has the built-in understanding of all these things? And you just, like, node 1 is air handler 1, node 2 is outdoor heat pump number 1, and it just knows what its job is, but they all have the same built-in understanding that they could do different jobs.
Close. I mean, our electrical panel, we have a big piece that goes in. Well, it's not big anymore. The techs, they really reduced the size, so I'm excited about that. There is individual nodes for individual products themselves.
Okay.
So there's a starter pack that you'll get, off the top of my head, we'll call it 14 nodes and 16 CT clamps and a head unit. So that will handle, your average house. And if you want to add a node because you have a pool and you want to monitor the pool, you add a node, and the nodes are like, $40 for a 2-pack of nodes. So you can keep on adding as you decide you bought a sauna and you want to monitor the sauna, how much it's costing you and so forth. You can add a node for that. You can add whatever you want to add. You have, built a new rooftop deck and you want to monitor, the leakage underneath that. You can add nodes. So it's nothing, everything around this product we built is we're paying attention to price, to the average consumer. Because like when I showed this to a group of people the other day, and it was at a smart home technology thing, and literally everybody in that meeting was like, so this is like what, 50,000, 60,000? I'm like, no, it's sub $2,000. And it was just like mouths drop, like thinking, because when you go to these big homes and you see, people buy a Savant system, and they have all the amount of wiring that they have to do. And it's to control lights. It's to do like the dumbest stuff. I call those dumb homes. They truly are. This is a dashboard for your home that tells you real information that's that you can do something with.
No, and that's, like I said, that's the true difference of it. So over the next 5-10 years, as you roll this out, one, you said you're going straight to contractor. So obviously there's no distribution or anything in the plans for any of that to get it to said contractor. Or is that a thought in the future? And then the next question is, longevity of nodes and other devices. I know you probably haven't had necessarily enough time to know all of that, but what's life expectancy of certain things and replacement look like?
So what's cool about that is all our nodes, they're all wireless. So the batteries in them will last 3 years because we were being very patient and paying attention. Originally, I wanted 5 years, but then the batteries started costing. It started getting like really pricey. So the the batteries in them last 3 years. So when you have them on a maintenance, you're going to go out there, every 3 years and start popping the batteries out. They look like a AA battery, very simple, but they're not a normal AA battery. Next generation, we already have, basically 3 or 4 generations in the pipeline of what we want to monitor, what we want to do. But the base system, it's all over the air network upgrades. So, and kind of like Apple, you have to sit there and download it in the middle of the night because then everything shuts down. We can do it remotely and you don't have to worry about it. So it's all over the air, just kind of real quick updates.
Gotcha.
So for the next,
As long as it's hooked to your regular home Wi-Fi, every time it's got to update, it's going to auto update, and over time, it's only going to get better.
Yes. As for over the next 5 to 10 years, I wish I had a crystal ball. The amount of meetings I've been taking since I started introducing this has been insane. I have a 5-year plan, and a 5-year budget and all that other stuff, but things change, things change really quickly. My goal is always to keep it built here in the U.S. My goal is to stay 100% involved. I really don't see this. A lot of people, I've talked to a lot of PE groups. A lot of people want to take it to, Amazon and Home Depot and all those other things. I don't want to see it go that direction.
I don't want to see you take it that direction. If you go anywhere, I think it should go. If the whole point is for it to go to the contractor to then the homeowner, it either needs to go straight from you to the contractor, or it needs to go through a proper distribution channel. Because that was what I hated when Google Nest came out. They went to the homeowner, and then 2 years later, they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, now we'll go to the distributor," and we couldn't make any money. Still can't.
Yeah.
So back to the same price.
Yeah, and that's it's just, we're not trying to do that. We're the whole game plan is to go directly to contractor, because one of the guys that's on the team, he knows every contractor in the country and everybody loves him, and so we have a great network there, and the feedback, from the customers, contractors and consumers has been amazing. As soon as I tell people, or show them. I show them like what we have. I show them the app, and they're like, all of a sudden, everybody starts telling me what it should do. Well, you should monitor water quality. We're doing that. Oh, you should tell us when the pool pump's going to go up. We're doing that. Oh, well, is there anything you could do about like a roof? Yep, it's already been done. We're already taking care of that. Huh. Like, people get it as soon as you tell them, and it's the easiest way is just to explain to them. What I always start off with, hey, what type of car you drive? And they tell me, a Ford truck, newer one or old one? Brand new. And everybody loves talking about their new truck or whatever. And I said, does it tell you like when it needs the oil change? Yep. The dealership sometimes reaches out to you too, right? Yep. What's your house tell you? Well, I don't understand. Well, what's your house tell you? Nothing. I have my service done every 6 months. Well, why? Because the contractor says I need to do it. Oh, do you? I mean, yeah, the manufacturers say you need to, but is it 2 months? Is it 9 months? Is it 6 months? Everybody just uses time frames. How about getting some real information and understanding what's going on with the home? just like your car. You know, a lot of people probably fought the whole car industry by telling you all this information, but you know, it's the early adapters that took off with it.
Yeah.
Just like the fuel mileage thing, that was the whole key around this. Was I wanted to put something that told people basically the efficiency of their air conditioner. Basically, now it's telling you the efficiency of the whole home. So, you know, it's the best way I can, you know, put it is we're a true smart home technology.
It's almost you got to sit back and think about it, because the level of everything that you're bringing to the table with this is, quite frankly, it's unprecedented and unheard of. The value of it and what you're offering it is unprecedented and unheard of. You know, you can joke about things changing the game or revolutionizing an industry, but this is a hard pivot that nobody saw coming.
100%. And you know, I love hearing you say that, because it's a you know, when I meet with, you know, I've met with some pretty good size private equity groups, and when they tell me that, and they tell me the evaluation, and they tell me, like, I'm just kind of like in awe over it, because it literally should have been done years ago when the automotive industry did it, but nobody took a look at it. Your most expensive thing that you could buy is your home, right? And nobody knows what's going on with it. Nobody knows what's going on with it. The contractor shows up and goes, "Hey, you need a new air conditioner." Okay, how much is it? Oh, we got financing.
Yep.
You know, there's not been any way to tell people water quality. You know, I don't know how much water quality you're into, but my wife and me, we always want to know. You know, we have halos in our house. We have indoor air quality, the top indoor air quality stuff in our house. We just put all new stuff in recently. We pay attention to all that stuff, and more people are. And to be able to put a node above, you know, your kid's bed, and just literally with a magnet, and just tell the air quality just in that room, so you know your kid's breathing good, healthy air. How cool is that?
That's your tagline, man. HG Home Guardian, a node above.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's just like there's so many different things that, and the engineer side, these guys have taken a step ahead. You know, they all of a sudden they brought me these nodes that we just had redone, 100% redone on everything this past like 6 months, and they designed these things, and we never thought about putting magnets and screw packages in these things. These things have magnets built in, so you literally can just go up to a register if you want to put it on a register in your kid's room. Instead of trying to screw it in and all this other stuff, you just pop it on the register. That's it. You're done. It's already connected. And here's a great thing about this. You know, contractors, nobody, if it's new and it's going to be troublesome to put in, it's going to be a pain in the butt. The software engineers took an account of that, and I told them this thing has to be put in sub hour. Right now we're about an hour and a half probably put in, and we want a step-by-step, super simple, scan a QR code, and it's all bam, 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 bam. And that's what we did. We literally, step-by-step, had, you know, if you're not getting a signal, it will tell you, look at this. If you're not doing this, look at this. And if you can't get it to work through the app, you can either use the chat bots, or you can just call a number and they'll walk you through it. But it literally, they've thought of everything. You know, when we go to market, we wanted to make sure that everybody bought in, and it's very simple to install, because you know as well as I know, if it's not simple and there's lots of hangups, these things are going to sit on shelves.
It's going to sit on the shelf, and getting people to adapt to it or accept it is going to take infinitely longer than it would have. And it's the little things, the little nuances, like you can use screws or it's a magnet mount. It's those little things that are the difference maker. And where you brought in a team of people that weren't just in HVAC, you brought in this big collective of people. You know, you could sit every different engineer in a room and be like, what's something you wish your home told you was going on, but you didn't know? And you start just narrowing them down and figuring them out, and you knock them out one at a time. And then every other day, I'm sure, like you said, they're coming in like, well, what if it does this? Oh, well, what if it does this? And that's how you kind of use that collective collaboration to really build a product that ticks
it's
hundreds of boxes.
And it literally, getting that outside influence from these guys from all over the place, it literally has evolved into what it is now and for the future. And I'm getting input from my patent attorneys, my general counsel attorneys, my contract attorneys. They're like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, like adding things in there. And even like having cool lights put in the background of it, and like just random stuff that I didn't think of, but people want. And so like, as this thing keeps developing, there's more and more stuff that's being added to it. And it's very simple to add. Once we built the main hardware, after we changed it recently, like I said, and we condensed it a little smaller and we did some other things with it, it literally, now the engineers are like, all right, it's very simple to change this and add this or do this. So it's exciting stuff, man. Once you see the screens, that's what I'm most impressed by. The screens are gorgeous, and we really, even the app's beautiful. We really were focusing on people want to have something on the wall that looks different. It's not just a Nest looking thermostat or a Honeywell or something like that. Or, ADP has, their alarm system on the wall. We wanted something different. So it looks like, the easiest thing I can tell you is it looks like two iPhones, side by side. So you can put it vertical or horizontal, and that's about the size of the screen. It's touch screen, of course, multi-touch touch screen. And again, we're doing it for a price point where I don't think anybody will ever be able to touch.
Honestly, this has opened my mind to a lot of it, because getting to hear you go through it and kind of sell it, even myself, I had bunches of different misconceptions of what the product was or would be or could be, or what the plan for it and the ideology behind was it. So this has opened my eyes to what it really is, and makes me even that much more excited to kind of see what you do with it. I think, in another 6 months, when you're that, or even closer to the end of the year, when you're 6 months into having launched, I feel like we need to do this again, because I want to hear how much more just crammed amount of information you get from it post it going to so many more people. So I think we definitely need to talk more about it as, over the next couple of months.
Definitely. And I'll be definitely hitting all the show circuits. I already told my team I'm not going to do booths, but I'm going to be the guy that just kind of, hey, you got questions about it? Let's talk. Because we have people on our team that have already started setting up those meetings. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me after my post. You'll see a lot of views, but you won't see a lot of comments, but my DMs are full right now.
I don't doubt it.
A lot of people just going, what did you, I don't understand. I don't understand what it does. I don't understand. Like, explain it to me more. And I'm like, once you understand it, you'll get it. And it just opens your eyes up. The greatest thing about it is we're Switzerland. We don't care what the product is. We don't care if you have a carrier. We don't care if you have a train. We don't care if you're using this water filtration, that water filtration. It all ties in.
Yeah, you just want to be able to tell the homeowner, and the homeowner just wants to know, is it working or is it not? And that's what you're here to tell them.
Yeah, and so you, as a contractor, you should want to know, am I doing the right thing for my client? Was that the right thing for my client as a good contractor? And that's the feedback I've gotten from a lot of them. A lot of the bigger guys, the $200 to $300 million guys, they have said, dude, we're putting this in on every system we install. This is the reason why, and I believe it's going to save and make money on both sides.
No, and I think it will. I truly do. And like I said, I'm curious and very interested to see the stats that start coming back from that, several months down the road, from people really getting these into the market on a large scale and seeing what happens. What's up, trade crew? Are you tired of playing microfarad hide and seek with your service truck inventory? I think it's time that you tested out the Turbo 200 family from Amrad Manufacturing and Global to Source, where efficiency meets durability and finding the right capacitor is never a game of chance. With the Turbo family of universal capacitors, you're not just getting any regular capacitor. No. You're getting the HVAC industry's version of a superhero cape. Reliable, efficient, ready to save the day, these ruggedly tested, made in the USA capacitors are prepared for whatever you run into during your service calls. These truly unique and industry-changing universal capacitors allow you to replace over 200 individual sizes with just their 4 models: the Turbo 200, Turbo 200X, Turbo Mini, and Turbo Mini Oval. And did I mention they have a 5-year warranty? Seriously, what are you waiting for? Do the math and upgrade your truck stock setup today, because the Turbo family has got you covered. Visit the HVAC R&D Vendor Hub and click on the Global to Source link to request training from a local account executive in your market. Easy peasy. Amrad Manufacturing, where performance meets perfection. Because in the world of HVAC, good enough isn't in our vocabulary. It's turbo or nothing. And now, back to the show. Well, as we kind of start to wind this down a little bit, one of the things that I've really made sure to hit on with every show is talking a bit about community and collaboration and giving back as I close the shows out. So, you've always been very heavily community first minded, whether it's about your own community, your family and friends community, as well as your trade crew and your trade professional brother and sisterhood. What drives you to continue to keep giving back?
The number one thing, this industry, the blue collar trade industry, has given me everything I have. Why shouldn't I give back? I mean, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, and I know nothing else than the blue collar trades. And I feel like this new venture for me is going to give so much more back to the smaller business owners that are in our trades, all the way to the biggest guys. And this, anytime somebody wants to, shoot me a DM, call me, I'm always available. I might not be available instantaneously, but I do get back to people as soon as I can. And I just like to see people evolve. Our trade needs to evolve.
Evolve or dissolve, as this show has always said.
Yeah, it's 100% true. I love the trades, man. I love the people, the community. This past 2 years, I've really stepped back from, going to all those shows. And it's only because I've been so deep down into this new venture that I have. I literally, for the past 3 years, have had a hard time not talking about it.
I have no doubt.
Until I got that patent, man. Until I got the patents, I was like, all right, now I can start talking about it now. And we're way further along than what we were, even 6 months ago. So it was just, it's hard. And so now I'm trying to, get back in and start talking more and more about it, and, helping out as much as I can. If people need help, they feel free to reach out.
Is there a node for that? The contact Keith node?
there might be. There might be.
It's kind of like the bat signal.
Yeah, the bat signal. Yeah, our logo is a shield, so it's pretty exciting stuff. Once I get one in your hands, you're gonna go, huh? Very.
So, what's one piece of advice that you would give other fellow tradespeople who are wanting to really grow themselves and become leaders in both their business and their communities?
It's very cliche, but get out of your comfort zone. There's no growth there. There's no right time. You just got to go for it and do it. And you got to have, you're going to fail, but you got to go for it, man. And that's the best thing I can tell people. I get people asking me, hey, I don't have enough capital built up. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm like, there's never a good time, dude.
It's never going to be the right time.
Never going to be the right time. You just got to go for it. And that's the best advice I can give to people.
Keith, I'm extremely grateful that you took time out of your day to speak with me and spend some time with me. I know you've got a lot of stuff going on. Where can people follow you and connect with you and with HG Home Guardian and stay plugged into everything that's coming out in the next couple of months and kind of see how it all unfolds?
Well, of course, HVAC God on Instagram. You can go to my LinkedIn, Keith Flores. You can go to Facebook. There's a HVAC guy. There's a Home Guardian. There is Twitter. I'm on Twitter and TikTok. Everything's always HVAC God, just so you know. And we've talked about it before in the past. Don't think I'm God out there, just so everybody knows.
If you want to know the story, go back to episodes 44 and 45 and give the old episode a little bit of love.
Yeah.
And get the full story. So Keith, thank you as always for this. Thank you for spending some time with me, spending some time with the trade crew. If you're not following HVAC R&D online, please go find me on Instagram and TikTok at HVAC.R&D and on LinkedIn, Trade Hounds, and Facebook as the HVAC R&D Podcast. Make sure to also go and follow us the newest HVAC R&D bonus show, the HVAC Zoomies, with myself and Rachel. We are on Instagram now officially at HVAC Zoomies. And stay tuned for more episodes where she and I talk about HVAC news real fast so we can talk about cars that go real fast. Thank you for listening to the show on your favorite platform, whatever it may be. Please smash the like or subscribe button, follow the show, like and rate it. Leave me a review. If I suck, let me know about it. If I'm great, thank you very much. Keep listening. And please share the show with your friends and your trade crew. Go check out HVACRD.com and the vendor hub and the swag shop. If you want to work with me, reach out to me. We'll figure out a way to make that work. So everybody, have a great, fun, enjoyable weekend, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.